Ladies and gentlemen, success is not an accident. It's a design, a blueprint. Just like you wouldn't start building a house without a plan, you shouldn't build your life without one either. And if you don't decide on your own blueprint, life will hand you someone else's, and it may not be what you want. The first part of your blueprint is vision. You have to know exactly what you want, not something better, but specific, measurable, crystal clear goals. The mind works best when it has a target. Without a target, you'll spend your life shooting arrows into the dark. The second part is discipline. It's easy to get excited about the idea of success. It's harder to show up every single day and do the small, sometimes boring things that success demands. But remember this, the pain of discipline weighs ounces, the pain of regret weighs tons. Next comes learning. The marketplace rewards value, and value comes from knowledge, skills, and experience. If you stop learning, you start falling behind. Read the books, ask questions, learn from mistakes, yours and others. Every lesson you learn is a brick in the foundation of your success. Then there's association. Who you spend time with matters. You can't fly with eagles if you're scratching around with turkeys. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, challenge you, and push you toward your potential. Finally, the last part of the blueprint is service. If you want to be successful in a lasting way, you must provide more value than you take. Help people solve problems, fulfill needs, or achieve their dreams, and you'll never have to worry about your own. To achieve anything of significance, you must begin with a clear vision. Vision is the mental picture of the life you want to live, the goals you want to reach, and the kind of person you want to become. It is not vague hope, and it is not a fuzzy idea of something better someday. It is sharp, defined, and deeply personal. When you carry a clear vision, you are giving your mind and actions a target to aim for. Without it, you risk wandering in circles, working hard but never truly progressing. People often confuse activity with accomplishment, but without a vision to direct your activity, you can be busy all your life and still end up far from where you want to be. A clear vision begins with imagination, but it doesn't end there. You can imagine an ideal future, but until you translate that imagination into specific goals, it remains a daydream. The mind responds to clarity, and clarity comes from details. Instead of saying, I want to be successful, define what success means for you. Is it building a certain kind of business? Is it reaching a specific level of income? Is it having the freedom to travel the world? When you define it in detail, you give yourself something tangible to work toward. If you want to earn a certain amount of money in a year, write down the exact figure. If you want to live in a particular city, describe the home, the neighborhood, even the view from your window. The more precise you are, the stronger your vision becomes. Clarity of vision has a powerful effect on your daily choices. When you know exactly where you're going, decisions become easier. You can quickly filter out distractions that don't align with your path. Without a clear vision, every opportunity can seem tempting, and you might find yourself chasing too many things at once, achieving none. But with a defined vision, you can measure each decision against your end goal. Will this move me closer or further away? This kind of alignment turns ordinary effort into focused effort, and focused effort multiplies results. Vision also fuels motivation. On days when energy is low or challenges are high, the picture of your desired future can reignite your drive. People who lack a clear vision often give up when obstacles appear because they have no compelling reason to keep going. But when your vision is vivid, it acts as a magnet pulling you forward, even if the path is long. The mental image of what you're working toward can make the journey worthwhile. The struggle becomes easier to bear when it has meaning, and vision gives it that meaning. It's also important to understand that vision is personal. You cannot borrow someone else's vision and expect it to drive you in the same way. Too many people chase goals because they seem popular or because others expect them to, only to find themselves empty when they reach them. Your vision must be rooted in your own values, passions, and priorities. What excites you may leave someone else uninterested, and what fulfills someone else may feel hollow to you. Take the time to reflect deeply on what matters most to you. Your vision should be the reflection of your truest desires, not the echo of someone else's voice. Creating a clear vision is not just about deciding what you want. It's also about understanding why you want it. The why behind your vision gives it emotional weight. If your vision is to build a business, is it because you want financial independence, creative freedom, or the ability to impact your community? If your vision is to improve your health, is it because you want more energy for your family, confidence in yourself, or the chance to live a longer, more active life? When your vision is connected to a strong why, it becomes more than a goal, it becomes a mission. Once your vision is clear, you must keep it in front of you. It's not enough to think about it once and forget it. Write it down. Keep a vision board. Review it daily. The human mind is influenced by what it sees and hears repeatedly. By constantly reminding yourself of your vision, you strengthen your belief in it and keep your actions aligned with it. Without regular reminders, it's easy for the noise of everyday life to drown out your long-term focus. You might find yourself caught up in minor urgencies and losing sight of the bigger picture. Keeping your vision visible helps prevent that drift. A clear vision also opens your eyes to opportunities that might otherwise go unnoticed. When you have a specific target, you begin to recognize resources, connections, and ideas that can help you reach it. This is not magic, it's the power of focus. Just as someone shopping for a particular car starts seeing that model everywhere, someone with a defined vision begins noticing the steps and possibilities that can move them closer to it. Opportunities are always around us, but we only see the ones we're prepared to recognize. Vision alone is not enough. You still need action. But vision is the starting point. It's the blueprint that guides your efforts. Imagine two people working equally hard, but one has a detailed map while the other is just wandering. The one with the map will make steady progress, while the other may end up lost. Your vision is that map. It shows you not only where you want to go, but also helps you stay on track when life throws challenges your way. It's worth noting that your vision can evolve over time. The person you are today may have different priorities than the person you'll be 5 or 10 years from now. That's normal. What matters is that at every stage, your vision is clear enough to guide your daily actions. Adjust it as you grow, but never live without one. Drifting without direction leads to frustration and regret, while living with vision leads to purpose and fulfillment. In the end, having a clear vision is about taking control of your future instead of leaving it to chance. It's about deciding in advance the kind of life you want and then letting that decision shape your behavior every day. Without vision, you're at the mercy of circumstances, trends, and other people's agendas. With vision, you become the architect of your own destiny. You may not control every event that happens to you, but you control where you're headed and how you respond. And that makes all the difference between a life you settle for and a life you design. Discipline is the bridge between intention and accomplishment. It's the act of doing what you know you should do, even when you don't feel like it. It's the steady, consistent application of effort in the direction of your goals. Anyone can get excited about a dream for a few days or weeks, but only discipline can keep that dream alive long enough to make it real. Enthusiasm sparks action, but discipline sustains it. Without discipline, the best plans remain unfulfilled promises, and the greatest potential remains dormant. Daily discipline is not about occasional bursts of effort. It's about steady, reliable habits repeated over time. The truth is that small, seemingly insignificant actions, done consistently, create massive results. A single workout won't transform your body, just as one day of saving money won't create financial freedom. But when those actions are repeated every day, they accumulate and the effects compound. Just as interest grows in a bank account, disciplined actions build momentum in your life. Over time, they become the foundation on which your success rests. One of the most important aspects of discipline is doing the hard things first. The human tendency is to procrastinate on tasks that require effort, focus, or discomfort. But discipline means tackling those tasks head-on without waiting for the perfect time. There is no perfect time. There's only now. The ability to start when it's inconvenient, when you're tired, or when you'd rather do something else, is what separates those who talk about success from those who live it. Every time you choose action over avoidance, you strengthen the muscle of discipline, making it easier the next time. Daily discipline also involves setting boundaries with yourself. It's saying no to the things that don't serve your long-term vision, even if they offer short-term pleasure. It's choosing the salad over the fries, the book over the endless scroll, the workout over the extra hour of sleep. These choices may seem small in the moment, but they are the moments that shape your future. Each disciplined choice is like a vote you cast for the person you want to become. Over time, those votes add up, and you find yourself living the life you once only imagined. Discipline is not something you're born with. It's something you build. And like any skill, it gets stronger the more you practice it. At first, it may feel uncomfortable, even unnatural. Your mind will try to pull you back into old habits because they are easier and familiar. But if you push through that resistance and stick to your commitments, those disciplined actions eventually become part of your identity. You no longer have to force yourself to follow through. It becomes who you are. That's when discipline stops feeling like a burden and starts feeling like freedom, because you're no longer controlled by moods, impulses, or excuses. An important key to daily discipline is keeping promises to yourself. Every time you say you're going to do something and follow through, you build self-respect. Every time you break a promise to yourself, you weaken your trust in your own word. This self-trust is critical because it's what allows you to set bigger goals with confidence. If you don't believe you'll follow through, you won't aim as high. But when you know that you can rely on yourself to act, you become unstoppable. You no longer need someone else to push you. You become your own motivator. Another aspect of discipline is understanding that not every day will feel the same. There will be days when you feel strong, energized, and motivated. On those days, discipline is easy. But there will also be days when you feel tired, discouraged, or overwhelmed. On those days, discipline is harder, but it's also more valuable. The days you least want to do the work are often the days it matters most. By showing up consistently, regardless of mood, you train yourself to operate above your emotions. Your commitment becomes stronger than your feelings. It's also worth noting that discipline is not about perfection. It's about persistence. You will have days when you slip, when you fall short, or when you simply don't get it right. The key is to not let one bad day become a bad week, or a bad week become a bad month. Discipline means getting back on track quickly. It's about minimizing the gap between falling off and starting again. Successful people aren't perfect. They're just relentless in returning to their habits after setbacks. Daily discipline is easier when you make it visible and measurable. Keep a journal, track your progress, or use checklists to see your streaks. The brain loves progress, and seeing proof of your consistency can be incredibly motivating. It turns discipline from a vague idea into something tangible that you can measure and improve. Tracking your discipline also helps you spot patterns. Times of day when you're most productive, habits that support your goals, and triggers that derail your focus. Your environment plays a big role in maintaining daily discipline. Surround yourself with reminders of your goals and remove temptations where possible. If you're trying to eat healthier, don't keep junk food in the house. If you want to write every day, keep your writing tools ready and accessible. Discipline is not about making things unnecessarily difficult. It's about making the right choices easier to follow. Small adjustments to your surroundings can have a big impact on your ability to stick with your commitments. Ultimately, daily discipline is about ownership. It's accepting that no one else is responsible for your success or your failure. Excuses might sound convincing, but they don't change results. The disciplined person doesn't wait for circumstances to be perfect. They take action within whatever circumstances they have. They understand that progress comes from showing up every day, even in small ways, and trusting that those small efforts will add up over time. They know that consistency beats intensity when it comes to building a life of substance. Discipline is the quiet force behind every great achievement. It's not glamorous. It doesn't always get attention. But it is the reason that dreams turn into reality. When you commit to practicing discipline daily, you are building the habits, character, and resilience that will carry you through any challenge. You're proving to yourself, one choice at a time, that you are capable of doing the work, no matter what it takes. And that quiet confidence becomes the foundation for everything else you achieve. Committing to lifelong learning is a choice to remain a student of life, no matter your age, experience, or level of success. It's a recognition that the moment you stop learning, you stop growing, and when you stop growing, you start falling behind. The world changes quickly, technology evolves, industries transform, and new opportunities emerge while others disappear. What you knew yesterday may not be enough for tomorrow, and the only way to stay ahead is to keep adding to your knowledge and sharpening your skills. Lifelong learning is not just about formal education. It's about developing a mindset that treats every situation, every interaction, and every challenge as a chance to learn something valuable. The most successful people never see themselves as having arrived. They may achieve incredible results, but they know there is always more to discover, new perspectives to explore, and deeper levels of mastery to reach. This humility to keep learning, even when you've already succeeded, is what keeps you relevant and adaptable. Too many people stop investing in themselves once they land a good job or reach a comfortable position. They rely on what they already know, but over time, that knowledge becomes outdated. Lifelong learners understand that to maintain success, you must keep evolving. One of the most powerful benefits of committing to lifelong learning is the ability to adapt. Change is inevitable, and it often comes without warning. Industries can shift overnight due to innovation, economic shifts, or global events. If you've developed the habit of continuous learning, you're better equipped to pivot, acquire new skills quickly, and seize emerging opportunities. Those who resist learning often struggle during change because they're trying to apply old tools to new problems. The ability to adapt is not just about survival. It's about staying ahead of the curve and thriving in any environment. Learning should be intentional. It's not enough to casually pick up bits of information here and there. True lifelong learners make a conscious effort to seek out knowledge. They read books, listen to podcasts, take courses, attend seminars, and engage in meaningful conversations with people who have different experiences. They ask questions, not just to get answers, but to understand the principles behind them. They are curious about how things work, why people think the way they do, and what trends might shape the future. Curiosity fuels the learning process because it keeps the mind open and engaged. Lifelong learning also involves learning from mistakes, your own and those of others. Every failure holds lessons if you're willing to examine it honestly. Instead of dwelling on what went wrong, you can analyze what could be done differently and apply that insight moving forward. This kind of reflection turns setbacks into stepping stones. You save time and energy by not repeating the same errors, and you develop the resilience to face challenges with confidence. The same applies to observing others. Watching how successful people operate can reveal strategies worth adopting, while seeing others make mistakes can teach you what to avoid without paying the price yourself. In addition to expanding your skills, lifelong learning expands your perspective. When you expose yourself to different ideas, cultures, and ways of thinking, you develop a broader view of the world. This helps you make better decisions because you're considering multiple angles rather than relying on a narrow set of experiences. It also improves your ability to relate to others, build stronger relationships, and work effectively with people from diverse backgrounds. In a world that's increasingly interconnected, this kind of perspective is a powerful advantage. Another important aspect of lifelong learning is staying teachable. As you gain experience, it's easy to believe you already know enough. But pride is the enemy of growth. Staying teachable means being open to feedback, even when it's uncomfortable. It means acknowledging that no matter how much you know, someone else might have an insight that can improve your approach. Sometimes the most valuable lessons come from unexpected sources. A younger colleague, a beginner in your field, or someone outside your industry entirely. When you're open to learning from anyone, you multiply your opportunities for growth. Lifelong learning is not only about professional development, it's also about personal enrichment. Learning new hobbies, exploring different art forms, studying history, or developing new languages all contribute to a richer, more fulfilling life. These experiences may not always have a direct link to your career, but they enhance your creativity, problem-solving skills, and overall happiness. A well-rounded mind is more innovative because it can draw connections between seemingly unrelated ideas. This cross-pollination of knowledge often leads to breakthroughs that would never come from staying in a single lane. The discipline of lifelong learning also builds mental agility. Just as physical exercise strengthens your body, mental challenges strengthen your mind. When you engage in activities that push you to think, memorize, analyze, and solve problems, you keep your mind sharp. This mental sharpness not only benefits your work, but also improves your decision-making, your communication, and your ability to handle complex situations. People who keep learning often maintain their mental clarity and adaptability well into later years, while those who stop challenging their minds may find it harder to adapt as they age. Committing to lifelong learning also boosts confidence. Knowledge builds certainty, and certainty fuels bold action. When you have studied your craft, practiced your skills, and broadened your understanding, you approach opportunities with assurance rather than hesitation. You know that even if you encounter something unfamiliar, you have the ability to figure it out. This kind of confidence is magnetic. It attracts trust, respect, and opportunities from others. People naturally gravitate toward those who carry themselves with the quiet authority that comes from preparation and knowledge. Perhaps one of the most rewarding aspects of lifelong learning is the ability to contribute more to others. The more you know, the more you can share. You can mentor, teach, guide, and inspire others on their own journeys. Your knowledge can become a tool for lifting others up, helping them avoid mistakes, and showing them possibilities they might not have considered. In this way, your learning creates a ripple effect, impacting far more lives than your own. And in giving back, you reinforce your own understanding. Teaching is one of the most powerful forms of learning. Lifelong learning is a habit that must be cultivated deliberately. It's not about finding time, it's about making time, even a small daily commitment. A few pages of reading, a short lesson, or a meaningful conversation adds up over the years. The key is consistency. You don't have to learn everything at once. You just have to keep learning something. Over time, those small investments compound, shaping not only your knowledge, but also your character, your adaptability, and your ability to create a meaningful and successful life. The people you surround yourself with have a powerful influence on the direction of your life. Whether you realize it or not, their attitudes, habits, and values shape your own. The conversations you have, the energy you absorb, and the examples you witness all leave an imprint on your mindset and decisions. If you want to live at a higher standard, you must be intentional about the company you keep. Choosing the right associations is not about arrogance or thinking you're better than others. It's about protecting your environment so it nurtures your growth instead of holding you back. Human beings are deeply social creatures. We adapt to the norms of the groups we belong to, often without noticing. If you spend enough time with people who complain constantly, you will eventually find yourself complaining more. If you're surrounded by people who take bold action, their courage will start rubbing off on you. This is why it's so important to choose associations that align with the kind of life you want to build. The wrong crowd can make destructive habits feel normal, while the right crowd can make success and discipline feel natural. The first step in choosing the right associations is clarity about your own goals and values. When you know where you want to go and what matters to you, it becomes easier to identify who can help you get there and who will distract you from the path. If your goal is to become financially independent, spending all your time with people who live recklessly with money will pull you in the wrong direction. If you want to be healthier, constantly being around people who disregard their health will make it harder to stick to good habits. Surrounding yourself with people who share your values reinforces your commitment and makes the journey feel less lonely. Right associations challenge you to grow. They are not just cheerleaders, they are coaches. They will encourage you when you're discouraged, but they will also call you out when you're slacking. The right people care enough about you to tell you the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. They will push you to stretch beyond your current limits and inspire you to raise your standards. This kind of accountability is invaluable because it prevents you from settling for less than you're capable of. Left to your own devices, it's easy to justify mediocrity. In the presence of people who expect more from you, you rise to the occasion. Positive associations also broaden your perspective. When you surround yourself with people who think differently, you are exposed to new ideas, alternative strategies, and unique solutions. This diversity of thought can spark creativity and innovation. Too many people limit themselves by only spending time with those who think and live exactly as they do. While it's important to have common values, it's also important to seek out those who can offer insights you haven't considered. The right people don't just agree with you, they expand you. Another benefit of the right associations is that they model the behavior and results you want to achieve. Being around someone who has already walked the path you're trying to follow can accelerate your progress. You can observe their habits, decision-making processes, and problem-solving skills. You can see firsthand what works and what doesn't, and you can adapt their proven strategies to your own life. Success leaves clues, but you have to be close enough to see them. Associating with people who are ahead of you allows you to learn from their experience instead of having to figure everything out from scratch. It's also worth understanding that choosing the right associations sometimes means limiting or even ending certain relationships. Not everyone in your life will support your growth. Some people may be comfortable with you staying exactly where you are because it validates their own choices. Others may consciously or unconsciously undermine your efforts through negativity, doubt, or distraction. You don't have to be unkind or judgmental toward these people, but you do have to protect your mental and emotional space. You can love someone and still choose to spend less time with them if their influence is pulling you away from your goals. Right associations are not always easy to find, but they are worth seeking out. This may require stepping outside your comfort zone, joining new groups, attending events, networking in professional circles, or participating in activities where like-minded people gather. You may have to be the one to initiate conversations, ask questions, and show genuine interest in others. Building meaningful connections takes effort, but those connections can become some of the most valuable assets in your life. It's important to remember that the quality of your associations is more important than the quantity. You don't need hundreds of friends or contacts. You need a handful of people who truly believe in you, challenge you, and inspire you to be better. Shallow connections can fill your calendar, but not your soul. Deep, supportive relationships, on the other hand, can fuel your progress for years. Choose quality over popularity, and focus on cultivating relationships that are mutually beneficial and built on trust. Choosing the right associations is not a one-way street. Just as you seek people who will inspire and challenge you, you must also be someone who adds value to others. Be the kind of person you want to attract. Show integrity, keep your commitments, and be willing to help others without expecting immediate returns. When you consistently bring value to the people around you, you naturally attract more of the right kind of people into your life. The relationships you build will be stronger because they are based on mutual respect and contribution rather than one-sided benefit. The people you associate with can either accelerate your journey or slow it to a crawl. They can either fill your mind with possibility or flood it with doubt. They can either remind you of your potential or reinforce your limitations. This is why it's essential to choose wisely. You are influenced not just by their words, but by their example. Over time, you will find yourself adopting their habits, mirroring their attitudes, and sharing their vision of what's possible. By choosing the right associations, you are, in effect, choosing the person you will become. Focusing on service is one of the most powerful principles for building lasting success. When you shift your attention from simply getting to genuinely giving, you create a foundation that benefits not only others, but yourself in ways that ripple through every area of life. Service is not about ignoring your own needs or sacrificing your ambitions. It is about recognizing that the most sustainable success comes from solving problems, meeting needs, and improving the lives of others. In every business, profession, or personal pursuit, the value you provide determines the rewards you receive, and service is the source of that value. The mindset of service begins with seeing beyond yourself. Too often, people approach their goals with the question, "What can I get?" This leads to short-term thinking, self-centered actions, and relationships built on convenience rather than trust. When you focus on service, you start asking, "What can I give? How can I help?" This shift changes how you approach opportunities, challenges, and relationships. Instead of viewing others as obstacles or tools, you begin to see them as partners and beneficiaries of your efforts. By putting service first, you build trust, credibility, and goodwill, qualities that money alone cannot buy. Service is also the best way to stand out in a crowded world. Many people are willing to do just enough to get by, but few are willing to go above and beyond. When you consistently deliver more than expected, people notice. They remember the extra effort, the attention to detail, and the genuine care you put into your work. Whether you are an entrepreneur, employee, artist, or leader, going the extra mile through service creates a reputation that opens doors and attracts opportunities. The marketplace rewards those who deliver exceptional value, and exceptional value comes from a heart committed to serving. Focusing on service requires listening closely to the people you serve. You cannot effectively meet needs if you don't understand them. Too often, people assume they know what others want without taking the time to truly listen. Service begins with empathy, putting yourself in someone else's position and asking what would make their situation better. This could mean improving a product, offering better communication, providing more reliable solutions, or simply being present and supportive. By understanding the real needs of others, you can provide solutions that make a genuine difference. Another powerful aspect of service is that it creates strong relationships. When people feel cared for, they respond with loyalty and trust. This is as true in business as it is in personal life. Customers stay with companies that serve them well. Employees are more dedicated to leaders who care about their growth and well-being. Friends and family bonds deepen when service becomes a habit rather than an occasional gesture. Relationships built on service are resilient because they are rooted in mutual benefit rather than selfish gain. Service is not limited to grand gestures or huge contributions. In fact, the most impactful service often comes in small, consistent actions. Returning a call promptly, keeping your promises, offering encouragement, and paying attention to details are all acts of service. Over time, these small actions accumulate into a reputation of reliability and care. The key is consistency. Serving well once may be appreciated, but serving well over and over builds trust that lasts for years. Focusing on service also benefits you personally by developing qualities that are essential for success. Patience, empathy, humility, and resilience all grow when you put the needs of others at the center of your actions. You learn to see challenges from multiple perspectives, which improves your problem-solving skills. You develop a sense of purpose, because your work becomes about more than personal gain. It becomes about making a meaningful impact. This sense of purpose fuels motivation, especially when the road to your goals gets difficult. Service has a way of creating reciprocity. While you should not serve solely for the sake of getting something in return, it is a fact that when you help others, opportunities often find their way back to you. People remember those who help them, and when the chance arises, they often return the favor. This could come in the form of a referral, a recommendation, a partnership, or an unexpected opportunity. By focusing on service, you create a network of goodwill that can support you in ways you might never have predicted. In a business context, focusing on service often leads to innovation. When you genuinely care about helping others, you are more motivated to improve products, processes, and experiences. You are willing to experiment, take feedback seriously, and adapt to changing needs. This constant focus on improving the way you serve naturally leads to growth. In contrast, when the only goal is profit, the incentive to innovate fades, and the business eventually becomes stagnant. Service keeps you sharp, relevant, and connected to the people you aim to help. A service-driven mindset also changes how you view competition. Instead of worrying constantly about others taking your share, you concentrate on making your share bigger by offering more value. You understand that there is always room for someone who serves exceptionally well. This creates confidence because your focus is on excellence, not comparison. When your energy is spent on finding better ways to serve, you naturally rise above the noise and build a unique position for yourself or your business. Even in personal goals, service plays a critical role. If you want to develop a skill, think about how that skill could be used to help others. If you want to build wealth, consider how your products, services, or investments could benefit people. When you frame your ambitions in terms of service, they gain depth and sustainability. It's easier to stay motivated when your success means someone else's life gets better as well. The satisfaction that comes from seeing your work improve another person's life is one of the most rewarding experiences you can have. Focusing on service also protects you from burnout. When your work is purely self-serving, obstacles can quickly drain your energy. But when your work is tied to a mission of helping others, challenges become part of the process rather than reasons to quit. You are more willing to push through difficulties because you know the outcome will benefit someone beyond yourself. This sense of responsibility can give you strength on days when personal motivation runs low. Ultimately, focusing on service is about building a legacy. Money, titles, and possessions can disappear, but the impact you have on people lasts. The kindness you show, the problems you solve, and the value you create will continue to influence others long after you're gone. Service ensures that your life's work is not just about personal achievement, but about contributing to something greater. It leaves a mark that can inspire others to live and work with the same spirit, creating a cycle of positive impact that continues to grow. Following a structured plan is the difference between drifting aimlessly and moving steadily toward a meaningful destination. It is the act of taking your vision and breaking it down into clear, actionable steps that can be followed day by day. A structured plan transforms ideas into execution. Without it, even the most exciting goals can remain nothing more than hopeful wishes. A plan provides direction, focus, and a framework that keeps you moving forward regardless of distractions, challenges, or changing circumstances. When you have a structured plan, you remove a large portion of uncertainty from your journey. You no longer wake up wondering what you should do next, because the plan tells you. This doesn't mean life will always go exactly as outlined. Unexpected events will always arise. But having a plan gives you something solid to return to when you get off track. It serves as your compass, guiding your choices and helping you decide where to invest your time and energy. Without such a framework, it's easy to lose momentum, procrastinate, or spend time on tasks that don't actually move you closer to your objectives. The process of creating a structured plan begins with clarity on your ultimate goal. Once you know exactly what you want to achieve, you can work backward to identify the steps required to get there. Large goals often feel overwhelming because they exist as one massive challenge. But when you break them into smaller, more manageable actions, they become less intimidating. Each small step completed becomes a building block toward the larger goal. This creates a sense of progress that keeps you motivated because you can see and measure your advancement over time. A structured plan also forces you to prioritize. Not all tasks have equal importance, and trying to do everything at once can lead to exhaustion and inefficiency. By organizing your actions according to importance and urgency, you can ensure that the most critical steps get done first. This prevents you from falling into the trap of staying busy without being productive. Productivity is not about how much you do. It's about how much of the right work you do. A structured plan helps you focus on the right work. Consistency is one of the biggest benefits of following a structured plan. Without structure, it's easy to act in bursts of motivation and then slow down or stop when the excitement fades. But with a plan, you have a schedule to follow whether you feel inspired or not. This builds discipline because you're relying on commitment instead of emotion. Over time, this consistency compounds, leading to results that are impossible to achieve through sporadic effort. It is the daily, repeated actions outlined in your plan that create the long-term outcomes you desire. Another advantage of a structured plan is that it allows you to track your progress. You can measure how far you've come and identify whether you're on pace to meet your deadlines. If you fall behind, you can adjust your plan to get back on track. This feedback loop is essential because it helps you make informed decisions instead of blindly pushing forward without knowing whether your approach is working. Progress tracking also provides motivation as seeing measurable results reinforces the belief that your efforts are paying off. A structured plan helps manage resources more effectively. Time, energy, and money are all limited, and without a plan, they can be wasted on unimportant or poorly timed activities. When your steps are mapped out in advance, you can allocate resources where they will have the most impact. For example, if you know that a certain phase of your plan requires a significant investment of time or money, you can prepare for it in advance instead of scrambling at the last minute. This level of preparation reduces stress and increases your chances of success. Flexibility is an important part of following a structured plan. While the plan provides structure, it should not be so rigid that it cannot adapt to new information or unexpected opportunities. Life rarely unfolds exactly as predicted, and sometimes detours can lead to even better results than originally imagined. A good plan is like a roadmap. It gives you a clear route, but still allows for adjustments if a better path presents itself. The key is to make changes deliberately rather than reacting impulsively. Having a structured plan also strengthens accountability. When you have clearly defined steps and timelines, it's easier to hold yourself responsible for following through. You know what needs to be done and when it needs to be done. This accountability can be further enhanced by sharing your plan with a mentor, friend, or colleague who can check in on your progress. The simple act of knowing someone else is aware of your commitments can increase your drive to complete them. A structured plan reduces decision fatigue. Every day, you are faced with countless choices, and each decision consumes mental energy. Without a plan, you must constantly decide what to do next, which can be exhausting and lead to poor decisions. But when your plan is already in place, the next step is predetermined, freeing your mind to focus on execution rather than constant rethinking. This clarity allows you to work more efficiently and with greater confidence. Following a structured plan also builds confidence over time. When you see yourself consistently completing steps and moving closer to your goal, your belief in your own abilities grows. You begin to trust yourself to follow through, even when things get difficult. This self-trust becomes an asset in every area of life because it reinforces the idea that you can handle challenges and achieve what you set out to do. In many ways, a structured plan is a form of self-leadership. It shows that you are taking responsibility for your path instead of leaving it to chance. You are not just reacting to circumstances. You are proactively creating the future you want. This proactive approach separates those who achieve their goals from those who only talk about them. It's not enough to have a vision. You must also have a clear path to turn that vision into reality, and that path is built through planning. The discipline of following a structured plan is what transforms potential into achievement. Even the best ideas remain unrealized without consistent action, and consistent action is easiest when guided by a plan. By laying out each step, committing to the process, and staying flexible enough to adjust when necessary, you create a reliable system for reaching your goals. Over time, this habit of structured planning becomes part of your identity, allowing you to tackle bigger challenges with greater efficiency and confidence.